Okay, 10E, receive report and provide direction to staff regarding recruitment of the new city clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. This item was before you at your last meeting, and at that time you directed or authorized the entry of a contract with an executive recruitment firm to assist the City Council in recruiting and appointing a city clerk to take the follow the elected city clerk following her term expiration and the transition to an appointive city clerk position effective December 12th of this year. You'll note that the staff report has a different date, December 5th. I recently learned that that was an error. The results of the election will be certified just prior to that date, and under the city's code, the change in elected officials, including the expiration of the term of the existing city clerk, occurs on the first Tuesday following the certification of the election results. So that date is December 12th. In any case, the City Council authorized a contract with Ralph Anderson Associates to conduct the recruitment in conjunction with the City Council, and staff has initiated work with Heather Rentschler, who is the representative of the Ralph Anderson firm with whom you will be working. I would note that the City Council determined on April 11th that the city clerk position would be appointed by the City Council, and at that time you approved a job description. Staff subsequently included funding in the fiscal year 17-18 budget that was approved by the City Council at the end of June, and then moved quickly to seek an executive recruitment firm that you authorized the contract with at the last meeting. The first step, as described to you at the last meeting, in the recruitment process, particularly when an agency or city uses an executive recruitment firm, is for the recruiter to sit down with the City Council or with the appointing body to discuss the desirable characteristics, including but going beyond the job qualifications or training and experience qualifications that are outlined in the job description. That discussion is a broad-based opportunity for the consultant to understand what the City Council will be looking for, both in terms of personal characteristics as well as direct job qualifications. In talking with the recruiter, she identified a interest to make sure that the City Council is mindful of the fact that at this point in time, the seated City Council will be initiating the recruitment, but the newly elected City Council that will take office on December 12th will actually, due to the duration of the recruitment assignment, be making the actual selection and appointment of the new city clerk. As such, I brainstormed with the consultant and came up with two options that are being presented to you tonight for your consideration with respect to this recruitment. The first being, in order to avoid any potential challenges that may result from that situation that I just identified. The two options that we've considered, and you may certainly have other ideas, but briefly, the City Council might decide to delay the start of the recruitment until the new City Council is seated, and that council has an opportunity then to meet with the recruiter. Alternatively, the City Council might want to consider appointment of a subcommittee of the two individuals on the current City Council who will be continuing in elective office for for the remainder of their existing term, and that those people might be tasked with meeting with the consultant to develop the job, or the candidate, the desirable candidate profile, and to get the recruitment kicked off. So I present to you those alternatives for your consideration, or any other discussion that you may wish to have. The consultant is available to meet as soon as this week on Friday, should the City Council wish to proceed. Thank you.
Connie, you mentioned at the last time we discussed this that the existing city clerk, Carol Bonner, was willing to stay on, because we would need somebody to carry on until that new city clerk is appointed. Have you had discussions with her about this?
I have not had additional recent discussion with Ms. Bonner, but that was her comment in a previous conversation.
Okay.
I can check with her again.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be on this new city council, but I'll just voice my opinion now. I think it's up to the new city council to do what they're going to do. Appointing a subcommittee of the two remaining known council members would be Mr. Medina and Ms. O'Connell, and I know they have two completely different views on the city clerk appointment and how that should be handled. So I think that might be counterproductive. I'd like to see the first option and just wait for the new council to take its seat and then work through this. Anyone else?
I'm just going to chime in and say that I don't need to make a decision. I don't need to make a decision on something that I won't be involved in, and so I would pass it on to the new council to make the appointment. I don't know. I don't have an opinion as far as how the subcommittee would work on this, but I will pass it off to the new council to make that decision.
Okay. Rico?
I could concur on the having the new council. You could have up to 3 new members, potentially. And obviously that clerk will serve at the new council's pleasure. But also, I believe that business goes on in this community. We can't just wait for an election until December and then the holidays, and then we're into January of 2018. I believe that there's 2 existing, Marty Medina and Councilmember Irene O'Connell, should meet and give guidance to the, who are they? To the contractor who's going out and doing the recruitment and begin the process. And then the appointment can be made as the new council is sworn in and gets up to date, so that we don't, because I believe you said it could be up to 120 days, and if we wait until then, we're obviously going to be way past into the new year.
Marty?
I can go either way on this, really. I think it's letting the next council decide. That's fine. It's just a delay. I guess it really depends on how strongly Councilwoman Irene O'Connell feels about wanting to partake in that process. I mean, we have to select one. We already have the decision. It would get us further down the road. So I'm open.
Okay. Irene?
Let me get this clarified. We would meet and discuss the attributes we would be looking for a city clerk. So it wouldn't be, we would want someone experienced. I mean, I would think that any reasonable group of people would want at least basically the same things. And I am sure between, even though we did not agree on the process of selecting a city clerk, I would assume, and I would hope I am correct, that we would be looking for the similar attributes regardless of how that person is picked. So I'm happy with going ahead. So
Okay.
the final decision about who would go to the new council anyway, so.
Okay, so why don't we appoint Marty Medina and Irene O'Connell to that subcommittee to meet with the new recruiter.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, great.